Veronica Fountain. I'm the publisher and owner of Simply Bowie Magazine. Welcome to my new television show. This is going to be a monthly television show that I am going to highlight local celebrities, business owners, leaders in the community. So I'm very excited to bring you this television show, Simply Bowie Magazine, new television show. And today I have my very first guest that I'm bringing to the stage with me is Jackie Thompson. She's the owner of Overdue Recognition Art Gallery, located right here in Bowie, Maryland at Bowie Town Center. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thanks for having
welcome.
me. This is really exciting, Veronica. I'm glad to be here with you.
Yes, yes. So introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Jackie Thompson. I am the gallerist of Overdue Recognition Art Gallery. We represent about 30 African American artists at the gallery, and we've been doing this. In fact, November is our 20th year,
Oh my
20th
God,
anniversary
20
of the
years.
gallery. Yes, so I'm glad to be here with you.
Okay, awesome. Name who are some of the artists at your gallery? I know Charlie Palmer,
Charlie
is
Palmer,
one.
yes,
He's
yes.
famous.
Yes. Some of our other famous artists, should you say, are Paul Goodnight and James
Okay.
Denmark. We also have Al Burtz and Levi Robinson there.
Okay, okay.
Yes, and a couple
Nice.
of other artists as well.
How long have you been at the Bowie Town Center?
We moved from the other side of Bowie off of Racetrack Road, but we've been in this location now for 6 years.
6 years.
6
And
years.
you're approaching your 20-year
20 years.
anniversary. You know, Jackie, you and I have been friends and known each other for some years now. You've actually had some articles, front cover feature stories in the Simply Bowie magazine. What made you start? What I don't even know your story. What made you get into the art world?
Well, you know, Derek and I, when our kids were young, we searched the DMV for African American art, and we
Okay.
couldn't find any. We couldn't find anything that represented us, and we wanted to make sure that the children had art in the home that, you know,
Okay.
represented them as well. So the passion for it grew, and I started as a collector. And actually, even in college, I took classes on art history. And I don't know, as it grew, it just grew. And then one day I said, I want an art gallery. So
Wow. Was this your first location? Well, you said you had one in Racetrack.
we did. We
Okay.
had one off of Racetrack Road where we were over there for 12 years, and then we moved here.
Okay, okay, awesome. I am so excited, ecstatic for you. I think, you know, well achieved, well accomplished.
Thank you.
With your art gallery. Now, you do framing as well, too.
We
you
do.
and Derek, okay? Tell me a little bit. Did you just scale up? It just started out as an art gallery, and then you was like, we might as well just go ahead and do a custom framing. How did that come about?
Well, we wanted to do everything around art, and I actually call the framing the house for the art. So we work a lot with investment art, so we wanted to make sure that the art was preserved, and that was very important. So that's how we got into the framing side of it. So when clients bring in pieces or they purchase pieces from the gallery, we want to make sure everything is preserved. You know how you see old newspapers or you know, or old photos. I know my family lost a lot of old photos because they stick to the glass or they turn yellow.
Okay.
We make sure that the art will never do that by preserving it with the framing.
That is awesome. And is it most of your framing, is it wood, glass, or how is it?
It depends on the
structured?
type of art.
Okay.
So some pieces are on canvas that don't need glass, but we have so many different types of glass. You know, you can get regular glass, you can get conservation glass that will stop any sun from damaging, and we have this amazing museum glass that actually looks like there's no glass on it at all. And then, you know, all of our frames are 100% wood, and
Nice.
every color you can think of, every size.
Mahogany to
Yes.
cherry.
Yes, over 100 samples,
Oh,
definitely,
wow.
to choose from.
That is amazing. So if an artist comes off the, you know, let's say a new artist.
Yes.
And they just come in and like, they don't have no gallery. If they walk in and like, can you help me sell my painting? What advice and how does that work? What advice?
It happens all the time. We get dozens of emails a month from emerging artists that want to be, you know, want to get into the business. It's definitely an art alone to the business side of being an artist. The best advice I would give them is to just get the exposure.
Okay.
Just get their work out there as much as they can, doing exhibits and things like
Okay.
that.
That's a good
and
feedback.
yeah,
Yes.
that's probably the best advice that I would say that they can get.
And I know that means everything to them because they want to pair themselves with the best, the best gallery there is in the region, the Washington D.C. metropolitan region.
And that gallery though may not be here. We tell artists all the time that sometimes your work isn't ready for this area, and they shouldn't be worried about that. We had an artist one time, Calvin Coleman. He's one of our good artists as well.
Okay.
When we first start looking at his work, because sometimes we'll look at an artist's work for a long time before we bring them into the gallery, make sure that they going to stay an artist, right, and a good fit. But I loved his work, loved his work. And so what happened was we bought his work in, and we framed it, hung it up on the wall, gave him space, and it wasn't moving. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? So what we did was we reached out to a gallery in Chicago. And we sent his work up there. Same thing. They loved it. They've been an artist gallery for a long time, longer than we had at that time. And so we sent his work up there. He did a show up there, and everything went well. And he took off like he is the man in Chicago.
Amazing story.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not where you are. And we brought him back here, maybe 2 years after that, and then his work started to sell here as well. It depends on where you are. Everyone knows New York is huge for art. Chicago's huge for art. Atlanta. So we may be, a little behind in the art world. But once people did get exposure to him at our gallery a few years later, it took off.
And he was able to, and you was just such a blessing for him to connect him in Chicago. How do you fit? And it's so funny that you mentioned Chicago and New York because those are big, artsy areas. So we're here in Bowie, Maryland.
I know.
How do you trigger people? How do you try to expose people to art?
I know. It's been a lot of work. So a lot of teaching. We do this event. It's called Art in the Afternoon.
Okay.
And we do it maybe every quarter, and we just bring people in to teach them about how important it is to collect art, how to use it as an investment tool, things like that, and just a lot of educating over the years. And it has finally grown. That
is good. That's amazing to hear. That's definitely amazing to hear. Let me ask you, because you have a very high-end luxury gallery, what do you see, Jackie, when you drive to Washington, D.C. and go into the city and you see a mural or graffiti on the wall? To someone like me, it might be like, well, who trashed the wall like that? Why would they put graffiti on the wall? Is it art to you? Or is it just like, oh my gosh, they just damaged someone's building?
No, it really is art. Art is everything, really. It's the way we dress. It's so many things. It's the way you decorate your home, everything. I look at it, it's such a self-expression, and now they're just doing graffiti. I mean, but you look at Basquiat. He started off as a graffiti artist,
Very good example.
But I do think it's art. Public art is very important to our city, to DC, to the whole the whole world. Public art is definitely needed. So I do think of it as art. I really do.
Okay, so you do. Okay, I was curious about that. And Basquiat, who is your top 5 artists? You mentioned Basquiat, and he's amazing. I've actually reviewed some of his work, and what are some of your other favorite artists that you like?
So favorite is so hard. Derek would say, she doesn't know what that word means, favorite, because everything is a favorite to me.
Okay.
I'm drawn to more so, styles, or drawn to themes, and sometimes it's not the artists themselves, because I would say all of the artists at my gallery are my favorite.
Oh, the best, yeah.
It's crazy,
That's a good answer.
It's a good answer, right? Politically correct.
Yes. Now, have you ever heard of, I'm sure, Kandinsky?
Yes,
in
definitely.
Germany. What are your thoughts on Kandinsky? He was actually one of my favorite artists when I first started looking into art. I really loved his work, and I actually traveled to Europe, to Amsterdam. I visited the museum in Amsterdam, and I really took heed and notice of Kandinsky's work.
And it may be the colors. You don't know what it is that's drawing you to the work.
It's the color, yes.
Yeah, his colors are amazing.
Okay, okay,
yeah,
awesome,
great
awesome.
artist.
Now you do events as well.
Yes.
Some you say yes, like oh gosh, yes. So I want to shift over now to behind the scene, and we both were smiling with that and disgruntled at the same time because I'm fresh off of hosting an event called Reader's Choice Awards.
Yes, great.
October the 18th, just last Friday. So I'm still on that high of what is such a great event that was. So the Reader's Choice Awards is when I bring the community together, business owners, leaders, and host an award show where I hand out awards to the best of the best in the community. You know, best dessert, best cupcake designer, best realtor, best home remodeling, best artist. So it's just really a great event. But I want to talk about behind the scene because you and I at the end of our events, and I want to thank you again for co-hosting with me.
It was a great event. It was a great event.
I really appreciate you co-hosting with me. But I really want to talk about, because sometimes when consumers or our friends or family, when they see my magazine, it's like, wow, this is such a luxury, a beautiful publication.
That's an event on its own.
Yes,
getting that ready,
really
I'm sure.
It really is. But people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes of operating and hosting a monthly magazine. And I have 3 of them, you know. So behind the scenes, it's like, oh my gosh, I have writers, photographers, ad designers, website designers, magazine designers. And I have vigorous deadlines, soft deadlines, hard deadlines. So it's just a lot behind closed door, behind the scenes, where I am like going stir crazy with it. And I wanted to know, with your events, because you host events too, tell me about some of your events that you host.
Well, first of all, the magazine, the Reader's Choice Award is so needed in the community, and everyone I'm sure would say, you know, that we're thankful for all that you do, because it gives small businesses a platform on its own. So all you do is amazing.
Thank you.
The events, wow. Yeah, so we have at least 3 major art shows a year. Okay. Right? And then we have a lot of small art shows. We also rent the gallery out for private events. A lot of local book clubs or art authors use the gallery for book launches and things like that, book signings. Nice. A lot of politicians use the gallery for networking events, things like that, and fundraisers. But behind the scenes, and like I said, we've been doing this for 20 years, and every time, even though you learn from each one, every time is the anxiety, did I do enough? I need another week. That's what I always say. Give me one more week and I could nail it. But so even up to the day, did enough people RSVP? Did I invite enough people? Did I do this? You know, it's always something, but the high of it and when it's going on is the greatest feeling ever. And especially knowing, you know, for our art exhibits that, you know, we're giving these artists the exposure that they need. That makes it all worth it.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. So, and you know, because behind the scenes with the Reader's Choice Awards, you know, I am like checking out with the caterers, the photographer. Where's the photographer? Did she take a picture? Did she take a snapshot at this scene? Or, you know, I'm looking at the DJ. Is he playing the right music? So it's just so much goes on behind the scenes that we're trying to be detailed with. You know, like the seating chart is like a puzzle you're trying to put together and making sure everyone is in place. And one of the things I make sure is the itinerary. What is your main objective, like when you're behind the scene, for you to make sure before the show starts, your event starts, like, you know, that you look at as far as, you know, what do you look at?
Well, first of all, I tell my team maybe a few days before, or even once we start planning, okay, y'all are gonna hate me by the time this is over. You know, if I get a little testy, please forgive me. I'm apologizing now. And they laugh, but then as it's going on, they're like, oh my goodness. But the itinerary is so important. Like, write it down, you know. But at the same time, though, you have to give yourself grace that things are going to
something
happen,
is going
and
to, it's going to be a snag or two.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
You've
because I
got
had
to
someone
be
that
graceful.
moved their chair from one table and moved it back to be with their other friends, and then someone came in and was a ticket holder for this reserved table, and then I'm like looking
It's
like,
gonna
okay, what am I
happen.
going to do here?
It's going to happen.
Just go grab another chair, somebody. It's going to happen. And you know, it's so funny. After every event, I tell myself, that's it. I'm not going to do any more.
Oh.
Because you just said that yourself
Yes,
after your
never
event. Like,
again.
I'm
Never
not
again.
gonna
And
do it
then
again.
the next
and then
year
what
or
happens when I
whatever.
run into you?
Yeah, Veronica, guess what? Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, and I'm doing the same thing, you know. And it's not, you know, I'm not doing it for, you're not doing it for, you know, money or da-da-da. It's really, for me, is bringing the community together,
Yes.
doing something to help the community,
Yes.
to enlighten the community. Like, business owners work so hard. So this is your night to come out and praise your other colleagues and come to the stage for an award and relax and dance a little bit. Enjoy yourself. Sit back and relax a little bit and dance a little bit, you know. And so that's what we do it for, you know. And then the next day when people see all the pictures posted on social media, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I was there, or I'm happy that I was
If they
there.
only knew, though, what was going on behind the scenes, right? Behind the
they
scenes.
would have volunteered and helped us.
I don't know. Yeah.
So you have an event coming up on
do.
Halloween weekend. Tell me about that event.
So it's an annual event. We've been doing it for the last 5 years. It just happened to fall because our anniversary for the gallery is in November. We decided to every year do this event around Halloween. But this year it's an artful murder mystery.
I love it.
Masquerade murder mystery event. So you come in your mask, and everyone is a suspect. There's going to be live music. There's going to be light hors d'oeuvres. A mixologist is going to be there. And as the evening goes on, in your masquerade, there's going to be a murder, and everyone is a suspect.
That's so exciting. I love it.
And again, it's like you said, it's a part of us giving back, you know, to the community, you know, doing this event, getting a lot of art collectors or, you know, the neighborhood together.
Yes.
And having a good evening.
Yes, and introducing, you know, your event to the community and others that have never heard of that type of murder mystery event.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
It's really
so is it dressed
exciting.
up in a costume, or is it just a mask?
As long as you
only?
wear your mask, we're, you know, after 5 attire, you know, it doesn't matter as long as you have your mask, because all the secrets lie behind the mask.
Right. I think that's amazing. And this is is this an anniversary event, or is this your?
It's just an event. It started as being, you know, an anniversary event.
Okay.
But because it always centers around the holiday, the Halloween holiday.
Okay.
That we usually kind of do, you know, something kind of Halloween.
I love it. And the adults, nowadays we love to dress up during Halloween now. And why not have a murder mystery behind it?
Yes.
So tell everyone where they can find more information about your
So
event.
the event is on our website at overduerecognition.com. And it's on Eventbrite as well. That's where you'll find more information about it.
Okay, awesome. Jackie, I want to once again thank you so much for being my guest today. My very first guest was Simply Bowie Magazine Television Show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and have a good day.